Are you preparing for CAT and other MBA entrance exams? BYJU'S Exam Prep, CAT and MBA, your one-stop solution for all MBA exams related questions. Watch unique strategies to ace CAT, XAT, SNAP, IIFT, TISNET, CMAT and other important MBA entrance exams. Tips and tricks to boost score, subject-wise and chapter-wise sessions, previous year's questions, exam-related update and notifications, live exam analysis and actual questions discussion. So why wait? Subscribe to BYJU'S Exam Prep, CAT and MBA YouTube channel and press the bell icon to stay updated.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon Varun. Good afternoon Maitre and Pragya. Very good afternoon to all of you. So good afternoon to everyone else who is here in this session. So welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep and welcome to this next session from the series of George Summers puzzles that we have been discussing now. So we already have had two parts on it. Today is the third part in which I'll be discussing the next few puzzles from the famous book from George J. Summers. So for all the new people, let me just tell you that the purpose of doing these puzzles is primarily to improve our LRDI section, because most of these puzzles are quite good logically, and yes, they are going to help you a lot to improve your reasoning skills. Because when you talk about logical reasoning and data interpretation section, okay, so what is the way of preparing for it? Because most of the students keep asking these questions, and how do we prepare for LRDI? So to prepare LRDI, the best possible way is to improve your reasoning skills. How do you improve your reasoning skills? And the only way for that is you practice a different type of questions which are based upon reasoning. George J. Summers puzzles are doing exactly the same for you. Most of the questions from this book, you will find them mostly on the logical methods only. Hardly there would be any mathematics required in doing these questions. Sometimes there might be. We have done questions in the past, if I remember correctly, from the last class only. We did a question triple A plus triple B plus triple C is equal to triple D. So triple digit number was added thrice to get another triple digit number. So there probably we talked about this. And similarly, in some other questions, only addition, subtraction, multiplication, only this much of mathematics would be involved, right? But yes, none of the questions would be based upon any specific kind of formula through which you have to do that. But yes, if I talk about the quality of questions, the quality of reasoning that is used in these questions, this is just brilliant. If you start doing them, you will find out that it is purely reasoning based and very good quality questions. If a person has done all of the questions of George J. Summers puzzles, I am pretty sure about it that each one of you would be very confident about your reasoning after doing these puzzles. And so therefore only we are doing these here again. So very good afternoon to all the people again. Good afternoon Kinjal, good afternoon Tushar, Bhargavi, Shayan and Kavya. I'm doing good guys, thank you very much. So I think without any delay now we can start with our session with the first puzzle of the day from George J. Summers Puzzles Part 3. Here's the puzzle on your screen. First of all, you all would try it by yourself, and after that we will do it together. Okay, so the way we have done before, we will be having 4 more puzzles today. We did 4 puzzles in part 1, 4 puzzles in part 2, and therefore this third one starts with puzzle number 9 from the book. Okay, so start doing it now. All of you try this once, after that we will do it together. You have it on the screen, so try it once. In the multiplication below, each letter represents a different digit. So A into CB is giving you a product D, D, D. Which one of the 10 digits does D represent? This question is almost of the similar type as it was there in the previous class as well. So we talked about it then also, that these questions are called from crypt arithmetic. This particular type from which questions would appear, this is crypt arithmetic. Rather, if you all remember yesterday when I was discussing CAT 2019 slot 1 LRDI on YouTube channel itself. So the set that we did from CAT 2019, that was on crypt arithmetic, and there were 4 questions on it. That means this is the type of questions that generally CAT exam would be asking you. So that becomes an important type for us. And this is absolutely a kind of question that can be there in any of these examinations. So here A, B, C, D, E, F, G, they are all representing distinct digits. It is already written that each letter represents a different digit, and we have to figure out this product. I would like to see an answer before I start discussing it from any one of you. Varun Ranganathan has given the first answer. He says 8. Okay, Varun. Good afternoon, Kamal Kant. And I would request all of you to please share this session with some other people as well, because more the people in the session, better it is. It becomes more, I would say, interactive as well. People would be answering a lot, and that gives a good feel. So if you have any WhatsApp group or Telegram group, so I would request just to share it once on the group. Of course, recorded session can be seen, but in a live session, it is always better to have more people to interact with. So Varun is the first person who has given the answer as 8. Can I have any more answers before I will start discussing this? Good afternoon, Krishna. Very good afternoon. Arbaz has got the answer as 7. Okay, Arbaz. Good afternoon, Pranit Patel. So Pranit, mostly you are there in MA at CET sessions. Is that correct? I think for the first time I'm seeing you in a CAT session, or I'm mistaken. Yes, is there any other answer apart from that of Varun and Arbaz? They have given the answers as 8 and 7. Can we have any other answer here? Okay, let's start discussing this. So the question says a single digit, that is A, it is multiplied with a double digit number, that is CB, and after multiplying ultimately we get D, D, D. No, Suraj, that is a sign of multiplication, that A into CB is giving you ED, GF and DDD. So basically I am sure that you all would have understood that B multiplied by A is giving you ED, and then C multiplied by A is giving you GF, and when you add them, D comes up over here, E plus F is equal to D, and then this is also D. There must be some carryover from here, and G plus 1 would be equal to D, something like that. Okay, how do we deal with these questions? See, the product, the final product is D, D, D. Can I also write this D, D, D as D into triple one? Tell me fast. Can we say that D, D, D is D into triple one? It is like, if it is 2, 2, 2, we can write it as 2 into triple one. If it is 3, 3, 3, we can write it as 3 into triple one. 6, 6, 6 can be written as 6 into triple one. So therefore, I am saying that here I can write it as D into 1, 1, 1. Okay. Also, I know that 111 is equal to 37 into 3. So ultimately my product comes out to be D into 37 into 3. Now D into 37 into 3 is the product of A and CB. That means there is a double digit number and there is a single digit number. So can I shortly say that this double digit number has to be either 37 or a multiple of 37, that is 74. There is no other possibility for CB. एक बार मुझे ये confirm करो. Is this part understood to all of you? Because DDD is D into 37 into 3, तो CB ही तो 37 या उसका multiple हो सकता है. A is a single digit. A single digit cannot be a multiple of 37. So therefore, if I have 37 from somewhere, it has to be in CB. CB is equal to 37 or CB is equal to 74. I'll start with the first case. Let us say CB is equal to 37. Now 37 into something, it is giving me a triple digit number. So now that means that single digit should be equal to 3 into D, right everyone? That single digit would be equal to 3 into D. That means that single digit can be 3, it can be 6, it can be 9. But 3 to मैं नहीं ले सकता. When I have already taken C as 3, how can I take A as 3? तो 3 तो यहाँ नहीं ले सकता. Can I take 6? Let's try. 6 into 7 gives me 42 का 2 आएगा 4 carry over, right? And then 4 would be over here. 3 into 6 is giving me 18. The condition was that all these digits should also be distinct, and yes, all of them are distinct. They should be distinct from 3, 6 and 7, that is also correct. And this sum finally gives me 2, 2 and 2, that is DDD. And fortunately, the very first case that we made, it satisfied all the conditions. So D is represented by 2. 2 is the right answer for us. That's it. Our question is done. Varun, yes, triple one when expanded, it can be written as 37 into 3. So that's what I have used over here. So I wanted a single digit multiplied by a double digit number, and in the multiplication process I wanted distinct digits. So at 6 itself I got distinct digits. Had it not been there, I would have tried with 37 into 9 then. 37 into 9, 7 nines are 63. So see, a digit has been repeated. So therefore that case would be rejected. Now after 37 into D into 3, you cannot have anything as a single digit now. 3 was not possible, 9 is not possible. The only possibility is 6, which satisfies. अगर फिर भी ना करता तो I would have taken CB as 74, and then I would have tried with 74 into 3. I would have tried with 74 into 6. I would have tried with 74 into 9. But of course, in none of the cases, I would have all the digits as distinct digits, because one thing is very simple. When it has already satisfied here, it would not satisfy in any other case. So I can straight away say that my answer is D is equal to 2. I hope everyone got this. If you have got it, please tell me through the chat box or through the like button. If there is a doubt, please tell me through the chat box so that I can clarify it. If there is no problem, I'll move ahead to the next puzzle. That was puzzle number 9, called 3Ds. So this was a question in which a little bit of mathematics is used, you can say. But I do not think, I mean, this much of mathematics, we should call it as mathematics, isn't it? DDD is D into triple one is no specific kind of rule or some formula. We all know triple one can be broken into 37 into 3. So this is more of reasoning, that how do you proceed with the question. That was more important over here. So I'm sure that all of you have understood now. So Suraj has understood, Arbaz has understood, Kamal has understood. So I think it is all okay with everyone. Varun as well. So we'll move ahead to the next one now. Puzzle number 10 on your screen now. The lawyer's testimony. Here we have puzzle number 10, the lawyer's testimony. So it's a case of crime patrol now. Crime patrol from some foreign country, because of the kind of names which are given, Albert, Barney and Curtis. So anyone who would be watching a lot of Netflix nowadays would be definitely interested in solving a question like this, isn't it? But I'm definitely in love with these puzzles because how beautifully they have framed them in a question. They are difficult, but at the same time, purely logic. No rules, no mathematics, nothing needed. Pure logic. They are as difficult for an illiterate guy as they are for a literate guy. So you have to find out the murderer of Dwight. Varun says Barney is the murderer. Okay, Varun. So mostly police has only one way of finding out the murderer, and that is tracing their mobile phone. So here we do not have their mobile phones or mobile history. So difficult to figure out who killed him. Kinjal also got Barney. Okay. So we have got two answers. Krishna is also getting Barney. So three answers. All three people are saying Barney. So let's start doing it now and pay attention to the method of doing the question because that is more important. Normally in CAT, we call it binary logic. So wherever we have questions where some people are speaking truth, some people are lying, we call it a binary logic. So how do we deal with the questions of binary logic? This is what I'm going to discuss with all of you now. Okay. So it says that ABC were questioned about the murder of Dwight. So ABC were questioned about the murder of D. Evidence at the scene of the crime indicated a lawyer might have been implicated in Dwight's murder. Might have been implicated in Dwight's murder. That means there is a possibility that lawyer is the murderer. That is a possibility. And there is a possibility that the lawyer did not kill the murderer. He is just implicated here. Each suspect, one of whom was the murderer, made two statements as follows. So Albert made two statements, Barney made two statements, and Curtis made two statements. Then the police subsequently discovered that only two of the above statements are true. So we have six statements above. Out of these six statements, two of them are true, which automatically means that four of them are false. Only one of the three suspects was not a lawyer. So out of these three people, there is only one person who is not a lawyer. That means the other two people are definitely a lawyer. So according to these two informations, now we have to figure out that who killed Dwight, the who is the murderer. So Chinta has got the answer as Albert. Roosters, that is Sanket, has got the answer as Curtis. Let's see what is the right way. ध्यान दीजिएगा, method important. Only two of the above statements were true. That means two of these statements were true, which automatically means four of these statements were false. Two of these statements were true, which automatically means four of these statements were false. How do we do that? Just pay attention. Albert said that I did not kill Dwight, and Barney said that I did not kill Dwight. So can I say out of these two statements, at least one is true? There is a possibility that both of them are true, but at least one of them must be true. Are you getting my point here? I did not kill Dwight, that is said by Albert. Barney said that I did not kill Dwight. So either there is a possibility none of them killed the Dwight. तो दोनों statements true हैं. Or possibly Albert killed Dwight. In that case, Barney is speaking truth. Or Barney killed Dwight. In that case, Albert is speaking truth. But one thing is for sure, that out of these two statements, at least one of them must be correct. I'm sure all of you have got the point, right? So please say yes if you have got it, right? So that I also know that, okay, you have understood what am I trying to say. So at least one of them has to be true. Now, so either first one is true, second is false, or first is false, second is true, or both are true. So I'm just taking one of the cases. Let us say both of them are true. If both of them are true, that automatically means the other four statements must be false. This is case one that I am assuming. If both of them are true, that automatically means that the remaining four cases are false. So this statement has to be false. 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 So this guy says, I am not a lawyer. It's a false statement. That means he is a lawyer. This guy says, I am not a lawyer. This is a false statement. He is a lawyer. I am a lawyer is a false statement. That means he is not a lawyer. Right? यही बोला था ना उसने. That only one of the three suspects was not a liar. So that is satisfied till now. But he says a lawyer killed Dwight. Now, our assumption is he did not kill Dwight. He did not kill Dwight. So, our assumption is that Curtis is the murderer. And Curtis says that a lawyer killed Dwight. And Curtis is a lawyer. So, this statement of Curtis proves to be true, whereas this should have been false. So, there is a contradiction here. And because there is a contradiction here, that means my assumption is wrong. The second statement of Albert and Barney, they both cannot be true. I hope you got my point. Though I would repeat once again. Let us say the second statement of Albert and Barney both is correct. So Albert did not kill Dwight. Barney did not kill Dwight. That automatically means Curtis killed Dwight. So Curtis is the murderer according to that. And all the remaining four statements must be false. That makes Albert a lawyer, Curtis a lawyer, Barney as a non-lawyer. But the statement of Curtis, the second statement of Curtis says a lawyer killed Dwight. And Curtis is a lawyer. And he is the murderer. So this statement proves to be true. So by assuming statement number 2 and 4 as true, sixth one is also proving to be true. और अगर वो भी true होगी तो तीन true होगी, which is in contradiction. Question had said there are only two true statements. Therefore, our assumption is wrong. That means Curtis is not the murderer. The murderer is one amongst Albert and Barney. Right? उनमें से ही कोई एक murderer है, which means one of these statements is true and the other statement is false. One of these statements is true and the other statement is false. So I am assuming that till now everything is okay. All of you are with me on this. Sir, why assumed for second statement? Why not first statement? Arbas, actually the second and fourth statement, Albert and Barney, they both are saying the same thing. So when they both are saying the same thing, of course, only one of them can be correct or both of them can be correct, because both of them are saying I did not kill Dwight. In the first scenario, जहां पे Albert कहता I am not a lawyer, Barney कहता I am a lawyer, both of these statements can be true. Both of these statements can be false. One of them can be true, one of them can be false. तो वहां पे सारी possibility बन रही थी. So I did not start with their first statements. I started with their second statements. I'm sure Arbaz, you got my point now. Okay. Let's move ahead. So now I know one of them is true, one of them is false. So let us say this one is true and let us say this one is false. So Albert says, I am not a lawyer. I did not kill Dwight, and I did not kill Dwight is true, right? And he says, I did not kill Dwight is false. That means I am now assuming that Barney is the murderer. Now I am assuming that Barney is the murderer. Okay? Now, Curtis says a lawyer killed Dwight. Can I say if this statement is true, then this would automatically be true? Again, three statements would be correct. भैया Barney कह रहा I am a lawyer. Curtis says a lawyer killed Dwight. So if this is true, that would automatically be true. And similarly, if that is true, this would automatically be true. This means both of these statements must be false. इन दोनों का false होना जरूरी है. इसका ये कहना that I am a lawyer और इसका ये कहना that a lawyer killed Dwight. So he is not a lawyer. He is not a lawyer. And a lawyer killed Dwight is false. I am a lawyer. This is also false now. What about the other two? Question said only one of the three suspects was not a lawyer. एक ही suspect था जो कि lawyer नहीं था. And we have got Barney as non-lawyer. Albert must be a lawyer. Curtis must be a lawyer. This proves the first statement of Albert as false. This proves the first statement of Curtis as false. And this proves everything correct. We have got four of the false statements. But the problem is we got no true statement here. Apart from the second one, we got just one true statement. I repeat, सेकंड को ट्रू माना, फोर्थ को फॉल्स माना, तो बाकी सभी अपने आप फॉल्स होती चली गई. There is no true statement after that, and when there is no true statement after that, that means we have only one true statement, right? That means this case is also wrong. Even Barney is not the murderer. We have already proved Curtis is not the murderer. Who is the murderer? Albert is the murderer. We have got the answer. Though you would be having a question, sir, वो prove करके बताओ एक बार. I will do that. But I'm sure that you got the point कि हमें आंसर तो हमारा मिल गया, that Albert is the murderer here. I mean, अगर एग्जाम में एक क्वेश्चन है तो मैं सीधा मार्क करूंगा Albert is the murderer and I'll move ahead. Is that right? Sir, it can be that 6 is true, 3 is false. वो हो नहीं सकता ना प्रज्ञा जायसवाल. If Barney is the murderer and you are assuming 6 to be true, 6 कहता है a lawyer killed Dwight, then of course Barney is the lawyer. And if Barney is the lawyer, so Barney saying that I am a lawyer, that automatically proves false, right? Proves true. So ultimately, both of them would become correct in such a case. So therefore, this is not a valid possibility. So I will talk about the third case, that how Albert is the answer. Let's talk about that. Of course, now the only case remaining is that this is false, this is true. I did not kill Dwight is true, but I did not kill Dwight is sorry. I am sorry. This means Albert is the murderer. Albert is the murderer. But I did not kill Dwight. This is true. So Barney के बारे में भी आ गया. Now he says a lawyer killed Dwight. A lawyer killed Dwight. If this statement is true, a lawyer killed Dwight, then this statement automatically becomes false, that I am not a lawyer, because he is a lawyer according to this statement. He is a lawyer according to this statement, right? I am a lawyer, I am not a lawyer. So ultimately, if I prove both of them to be false, does it satisfy? I am a lawyer. If it is false, he is not a lawyer. I am not a lawyer. If this is false, he is a lawyer. And now you see everything is getting satisfied. We have got only true statements. And we have got Albert as the murderer. Two people are lawyers and only one person is a non-lawyer, which the question was saying. So therefore, we can straight away say that Albert is the murderer in this case. Is that clear, everyone? I hope you all have understood now. These are slightly difficult questions, but as I have always said previously as well, do not look at these questions from the perspective of one single question. If any such question would be a part of your exam, generally there would be 3-4 questions on such a set. There would not be a single question. So they would make 3-4 questions on this. One question would be who killed Dwight? Second question would be that which statement of Barney is false? Next statement would be that who is not a lawyer? So something like that. I mean, you can create 3-4 questions on these. This is how these questions are asked. But these are beautiful questions, absolutely beautiful questions, pure reasoning, nothing else. There's a question which is based upon binary logic. So I'm sure that all of you have understood now. So Kinjal also says it is clear. So I think we can move ahead from here to the next puzzle. That is puzzle number 11 for the day. Okay, let's see puzzle number 11. Puzzle number 11 is on your screen. So I think my head is coming in the way. Yes, so I'll decrease my size. another case from Crime Patrol. So this is second episode now. Can we have any answer before I start discussing this? I see no answer yet from anyone, though I found it quite an easy question. Varun says murder or suicide possibly. There were only three options, Varun. You have eliminated only accident from them. Gaurav Sinha has got accident, Ritik has got murder, Krishna has got murder, Pragya has got accident. So suddenly we got number of answers, some 4 5 answers. Let's start discussing this. Om has got suicide, okay. When Cora was killed, Anna and Beth were questioned by the police about the manner of her death by poison. So Anna says if it was murder, Beth did it. Beth says if it was not suicide, it was murder. The police made the following assumptions. Subsequent developments revealed these assumptions were correct. What was the manner of Cora's death? So most of you are saying murder now. Rahul is saying murder, Kinjal, Maitre, Rahul and Sanket. Let us see that what is the right answer for this. Okay? चलिए देखते हैं. So the first thing is, I would say when these are the only three ways, that is accident, suicide or murder. So I think making cases through these only would be easier, according to me. I mean, I can make cases according to these as well. None of them lied, so assume both of them true, see what happens. Either of them lied, assume first one is lie, second is true. Assume the first one is true, second is lie. Assume both of them are lie. So that way I can make cases and check. But here there are only three cases. I think it is better to check by them. What if it is an accident? What if it is an accident? If it is an accident, what does Anna say? If it was murder, it is not murder. So basically about Anna's statement, you can't say whether it is truth or a false because ultimately it does not apply. So neither we can say true nor we can say false. Beth क्या कहती है? If it was not suicide and it is not suicide, it was murder. तो अगर suicide नहीं है, it should be murder. But it is not murder. That means statement of Beth is a false statement. Statement of Beth is a false statement. But the police's assumption says that if either of them lied, then it should not have been accident. If either of them lies, it should not have been accident. And we see that Beth is lying, it is an accident. So therefore, it is not accident. That is for sure. So the first case is ruled out, that is of accident. Okay? Let's talk about the second case now, that is murder. So if it is a murder now, let's talk about it. If it is a murder, Anna says if it was murder, Beth did it. It is murder, right? So Anna's statement would be correct. If Beth did it, then it would be true. Anna's statement would be false. If Beth did not do it, let's say Anna did it, in that case it would be false, right? So according to this statement, Anna's statement can be true, can be false, but we can surely say what is it, true or false, because it is murder. So Anna says if it is murder, yes it is murder. Then Beth did it. So if Beth did it, then it is true. If Anna did it, then it is false. Beth क्या कहती है? If it was not suicide, and it is not suicide, it was murder, and if it is not suicide, it should be murder. This proves out to be true. ओके, पुलिस की assumption क्या कहती है? If neither of them lied, it was an accident. So if this is also true, this should have been an accident. So this cannot be true. This has to be a false statement then. Second, if either Anna or Beth lied, yes, it was not an accident, and that is satisfied. That means this case satisfies it that it was a murder by Anna, and then you would see that everything would be satisfied. Therefore, murder is the correct answer. Murder is the correct answer. Though I can't say surely that Anna did the murder, but I can surely say Beth did not do the murder. Anna, Beth did not murder. Anna, I mean a possibility. I just taken one case that if not Beth, then who? So I just given a name to that person. I just said Anna. But ho to koi aur bhi sakta hai. It's not necessary that police is questioning to Anna and Beth, so it cannot be some other guy. It can be some third guy. But one thing is for sure, Beth is not the murderer. Because if Beth is the murderer, both statements are correct. And if both of them are correct, then it should have been an accident, according to the first assumption of the police. So therefore, it has to be non-Beth, some other person doing the murder. And according to that, I would see that second statement would satisfy, because first statement would be false and second statement would be true. Is it clear now? Jaldi batao jara mujhe ek baar, then I'll move ahead from here to the last puzzle of the day. That was puzzle number 11, and this brings us to the last puzzle of the day now. That is puzzle number 12. I'm sure that this is clear to everyone. I think puzzle number 10 and 11 were slightly on the easier side. All of you would have understood those. So I'll move on to the last puzzle of the day. That is puzzle number 12. Here it is on your screen now. This puzzle is named as 3Ds. Oh no, I think I have wrongly written that. It is not 3Ds. 3Ds was the first puzzle. Somehow I forgot to change the name of it. So, five married couples attended an anniversary dinner in honor of one of the husbands. Chairs were arranged around on an L-shaped table. Around N hoga, I think, on nahi, as shown in the diagram below. I hope the diagram is easily visible to all of you. Every man sat opposite a woman. I sat in chair A opposite my husband. You might be having this question, sir, what do you mean by I? Who is I here? So that's not the question. Basically, I is one of these 10 people. There are 5 married couples. So out of those, one of the persons is I mean, who is the speaker. And then there is some more information. In which chair did Mr. Lancer sit? In which chair did Mr. Lancer sit? Gaurav Sinha says J or D. Okay. That's your name, I suppose, Gaurav Sinha. Isn't that correct? Your profile name is JD only in the class. Om says F. Okay, Om. Maybe. Okay. Okay, I think we can start doing it now. Okay. Sanket is getting C or F. Okay, Sanket, we'll check that. Five married couples attended an anniversary dinner in honor of one of the husbands, Mr. Lancer. Chairs were arranged around an L-shaped table as shown in the diagram below. And after that, some information is there. So first of all, let us say the couples are A plus, A minus, which means Mr. A and Mrs. A, Mr. B and Mrs. B, Mr. C and Mrs. C, Mr. D and Mrs. D, Mr. E and Mrs. E. At the table, every man sat opposite a woman. I sat in chair A opposite my husband. No women sat between two men. Mr. Lancer sat between two women. In which chair did Mr. Lancer sit? This is what we have to figure out. So Rishi got C as the answer and Suraj got F as the answer. Let's check. This is the last question that we are doing now. He said, I sat in chair A opposite my husband. So the speaker is actually a woman. She sat in chair A opposite her husband. Let us say the woman is A minus because it does not make a difference which women we are talking about, which man we are talking about. We are just concerned about who is a man, who is a woman. At the end, we will see there would be one man who would be sitting between two women, and that man would be Mr. Lancer. That we have to figure out that who is that man. So first of all, I'm starting with this, that let us say at this place, Mrs. A is sitting. She said that I sat in chair A opposite my husband. So opposite to this lady would be her husband. Let us say A plus. Okay. Next. Next he says, every man sat opposite a woman. No women sat between two men. No women sat between two men. So can I say these two positions, they both cannot be taken by a man because a woman cannot sit between two men. So both of these positions should not be taken by a man. Either one of them is a woman or both of them are a woman. So I'm starting with just one assumption. Take any of them. Let us say both of them are women. मैं एक assumption लेके चल रहा हूँ. Let us say both of them are women. So both of them are women. So let's say B is sitting here and C is sitting here. Both the women are sitting here at B and C. Okay. So I see many of you are answering F. Suraj, Kavya, Maitre, Vishnu. Let's see if F is the correct answer. So I repeat, I have just taken a possibility that lady A is sitting between two ladies. That is one of the possibilities. Now because every man sat opposite a woman, so women के सामने एक man होना चाहिए. So opposite to Mrs. B there must be a man. Let us say that is Mr. B. Opposite to C should be a man. Let us say that is Mr. C. तो अभी तक ये लोग आ गए हमारे पास. So Mr. A and Mrs. B are there. Sorry, Mr. A and Mrs. A are there. Mr. B and Mrs. B, Mr. C and Mrs. C. ये सब बैठ चुके. Now we are left with two more couples. Mr. and Mrs. D, Mr. and Mrs. E. Okay, let's move ahead. We have three males till now. So can I say a woman cannot sit here? I hope you are getting my point. Because a woman cannot sit between two men. So if a woman is here, she would be between two men. So here I have to have a man. Let us say that man is D. Now this man should be opposite a woman. So that woman must be D. Now we are left with these two places. And at these two places, we have one man, one woman. Moreover, we also want to see a man sitting between two women. So if I make Mr. E sit here and Mrs. E sit here, it does not contradict any of the situations. And I see there is only one man who is sitting between two women. This man must be Mr. Lancer. That means Mr. Lancer sits in chair C. I repeat, you must be thinking, sir, this is one of the cases that you have taken. Yes, that's correct. I will be talking about the other case as well. But yes, as I've told you before as well, that if the question is asking you in which chair did Mr. Lancer sit and I'm getting an answer, I can straight away say that there is a unique answer for this. Even if I make any other case, either he would be sitting on C only, or we will not have anyone sitting at like this, where a man is sitting between two women. I will show you one more case. I mean, एक और case बना के देख लेंगे that why is that contradicted. But I'm sure that this is clear to all of you. All of you have understood this point at least. That how did we select Mr. Lancer sitting at seat C? We started with an assumption that Mrs. A is sitting between two women, and we just kept making each and everything where every man has to sit opposite a woman, and ultimately we saw a man sitting between two women, and that man was sitting at seat C. You might be saying, sir, how do you know that Mrs. C is opposite Mr. C? How do you know that Mrs. D is opposite Mr. B? As I said, it does not make a difference. It does not make a difference at all. सर बिटवीन बोला है ना, हाँ हाँ ओम, तो बिटवीन ही तो है वो. मिस्टर ई इज बिटवीन टू वुमेन, मिसेस सी एंड मिसेस डी. सी और डी के बीच में ही है ना वो. मिसेस सी एंड मिसेस डी, दीज आर द टू वुमेन बिटवीन whom he is sitting. Let's make another case. What if I had one of them as a male and one of them as a female? As I said, question में बोला है no women is sitting between two men. So I said Mrs. A should be sitting between either two women or a man and women. So I take other assumption now. Let's say Mr. B is here and let us say Mrs. B is here. So Mr. B should be opposite a woman. Let's say Mrs. C. Mrs. B should be opposite a man. Let us say Mr. C. As I said, does not make a difference. आप यहाँ Mrs. B बना लीजिए, यहाँ Mrs. C बना लीजिए. So it does not make a difference. So these are the people sitting currently. Also, he said no women is seated between two men. अभी तक वो हम लोगों ने होने नहीं दिया है, right? So we can't have both the men over here now. One of them must be a woman. And we are left with two more people now, Mr. D and Mrs. D, Mr. E and Mrs. E. So can we make a woman sit here? Yes, that's possible. Let's say I make Mrs. D here. If Mrs. D is here, then Mr. D would be here. And now I have to put Mr. E and Mrs. E somewhere. I have to put Mr. E and Mrs. E somewhere. What if I put Mr. E here and Mrs. E here? Is that a possibility? Yes, that's a possibility. It satisfies all the conditions. But the problem with this case is I do not see a single man sitting between two women. Right? I do not see a single man sitting between two women. Therefore, this is not a possibility as well. इसको भी हम लोग नहीं मान सकते. What if Mrs. E is here and Mr. E is here? अगर मैं ऐसा बना दूं तो क्या प्रॉब्लम है? Right? Do we have a problem? No, we still do not have a problem. But still I do not have a man sitting between two women. वो मुझे अभी भी नहीं मिल रहा है. That means this case is also not possible. What if I have Mr. D here and Mrs. D here? Let's check that as well. If Mr. D is here, Mrs. D is here, we are left with Mr. and Mrs. E. So Mr. E would be here, Mrs. E would be here. Is that possible? Yes. But again, we got Mr. Lancer being seated at point C. He is the only man sitting between two women. So therefore, again, I would say Mr. Lancer is sitting at seat C. So whatever the case is, the point is not that who is sitting where. The point is Mr. Lancer कहाँ बैठेंगे? In each of the cases, I say Mr. Lancer comes at point C only. So that becomes the final answer for us. I'm sure all of you have understood, guys. That was all from my side for today. That was the last puzzle of the day. If you have liked the session, please do press the like button. And as I asked you before as well, please share it with more and more people, because more people are there, more interactive would it be, and it will be more interesting for all of us. Keep coming to these sessions. We'll keep discussing these, and subscribe to BYJU'S Exam Prep channel. You'll keep getting the notifications when these sessions are there. We are also there on all these media handles. You can follow us over there. So that's all from my side, guys. Thank you very much. I hope you liked the session, right? And I hope to see you again in the upcoming sessions based upon George Summers puzzles. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good day now. See you very soon. Bye-bye.